Hello and welcome to The Explainer. Is a new world order taking shape right before our very eyes? Well, it might be, and it's called BRICS Plus. Today, we're going to dive deep into what this powerful new group actually wants and whether they can really pull it off. Okay, let's get right into it. In 2024, the BRICS group got a major upgrade. They brought in new members and became what we now call BRICS Plus. Now, this is way more than just adding a few more flags to the family photo. This could be a real shift in global power. So what's their big plan? What are they actually trying to do? So here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll look at the sheer scale of this new BRICS Plus bloc. Then we'll explore their really ambitious vision for energy and the crucial role that youth and technology play in it. After that, we're going to get a bit of a reality check from the outside world before putting all the pieces together to see the big picture. All right, first things first, let's really wrap our heads around just how big of a deal this new group is. We're talking about a seriously major new player on the world stage. Think about this for a second. The BRICS Plus nations all together now produce over a third of the world's food. That is a huge deal. It gives them some serious clout when it comes to global supply chains and, keeping everyone fed. So you've got the original crew, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. But now they've brought in some heavy hitters: Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE. And the whole idea here really is to create a more balanced world, one where the big decisions aren't just being made by a handful of Western powers. Okay, so we know who's in the club, but what's their game plan? Well, a massive piece of their vision revolves around energy, and they've got this big concept they call the just and sustainable energy transition. Now, I know that sounds like a mouthful, but the key words are just and sustainable. See, it's not just about going green, it's about how you do it. They want a transition that's fair, that includes everybody, and that actually helps economies grow, especially for countries in the global south. And look, this isn't just wishful thinking. They are making some serious moves. This table is pretty incredible, right? Just look at China's leap from 68th all the way up to 17th on the Energy Transition Index in just 2 years. That's wild. And South Africa's jump is nothing to sneeze at either. It shows this as more than just talk. They're pouring real money and policy into this. But, of course, it's never that simple, is it? The reality on the ground is, well, it's complicated. For all the ambitious goals, many BRICS Plus countries are still super reliant on fossil fuels. And things like environmental pollution, that's still a massive, massive hurdle they have to clear. So how in the world do they plan to overcome these huge challenges? Well, their strategy really hinges on two incredibly powerful forces: their young population and cutting-edge technology. And this isn't just some nice-sounding platitude. What it really means is recognizing that young people aren't just passively waiting for the future to happen to them. No, they're the ones on the ground right now leading grassroots movements and pushing politicians for actual policy changes. You see it everywhere. From activism in the streets to innovation in the lab, young people are at the front. They're demanding change while also harnessing incredible new tech, like using AI to make wind turbines more efficient, or even exploring advanced nuclear power to build a future that's actually sustainable. Okay, so that's the plan from the inside looking out. It's ambitious, it's optimistic. But how does it all look from the outside? What happens when you start factoring in global politics and all that messy geopolitical stuff? And to get that outside view, let's take a look at a recent analysis from the European Parliament. It gives us a pretty clear-eyed perspective on the economic and political realities the BRICS Plus bloc is navigating. So here's the crucial thing to remember. BRICS Plus doesn't operate in a vacuum. Not at all. It exists in a world where you've got these huge competing projects for global influence, like China's Belt and Road Initiative clashing with the EU's Global Gateway. It's a battle of big ideas and big money. And when you start to crunch the numbers, especially on trade with a major partner like the EU, the story gets really clear. China isn't just one member among equals. It is the economic engine of the whole group. A staggering 55% of the trade growth between the EU and BRICS Plus over a decade came from China alone. That raises some big questions about who really holds the power within the bloc. And while BRICS Plus is definitely making waves, let's not forget who's still holding the biggest financial cards. The EU's analysis points out that established Western economies are still the dominant forces in global investment. For now, anyway. So, we've seen the ambitious internal vision and the hard-nosed external reality. What happens when we put them side by side? Well, what we're left with is this fascinating set of tensions. You've got this amazing ambition for a clean energy future running smack into the hard reality of fossil fuel dependency. You've got the goal of global collaboration versus the ongoing competition of global economics. And you have the ideal of a unified, equal partnership versus the quiet dominance of its single largest member.
And all of that brings us to the central question, doesn't it? The one that will really define the future of this emerging global power.
Thanks for joining me on this deep dive into BRICS Plus. If you want more explainers that cut through the noise on these huge global topics, please be sure to subscribe and share this.